Let me start with a question that might change how you think about your own mind. What if the next frontier in human performance isn't in your muscles, your diet, or even your sleep, but in your brain's cellular energy? For decades, we've been obsessed with optimizing our bodies, supplements for muscle growth, fat loss, recovery, hormones. But what about the brain? The very command center that orchestrates every breath, every decision, every heartbeat. You see, your brain consumes nearly 20% of your body's total energy, yet it's only about 2% of your body mass. That means every thought, every memory, every emotion, every creative spark you've ever had, it all depends on how efficiently your brain's mitochondria can produce energy. And that, my friends, is where this story begins. When I first started researching the link between cellular energy and cognitive performance, I noticed something strange. People were drinking caffeine like it was oxygen, coffee in the morning, energy drinks at noon, pre-workout before the gym, and yet so many of them still complained of brain fog, poor focus, low motivation, anxiety, and fatigue. Why? Because caffeine doesn't create energy, it borrows it. It tricks your nervous system into believing it's not tired, but the underlying energy deficit remains. The real key to brain performance lies deeper, inside the mitochondria of your neurons. These tiny powerhouses generate ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the universal currency of energy. And when your neurons are low on ATP, your focus drops, your memory slows, your mood declines, and even your creativity begins to fade. Now, what if I told you there's a way, a natural, scientific, measurable way to boost ATP production directly inside your brain cells? And what if the secret lies in something that's been sitting on your kitchen shelf all along? Creatine. Most people associate creatine with bodybuilders, athletes, or gym enthusiasts. But what science is revealing now, and this is absolutely groundbreaking, is that creatine isn't just for your muscles, it's for your neurons. When you supplement creatine, you increase the phosphocreatine stores in your brain. This acts like an energy battery, ready to recharge your neurons during moments of high demand, moments of learning, stress, deep thinking, emotional control, or creativity. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. In the last few years, researchers have started to uncover a new class of brain support compounds. Let's call them neuroenhancers. These molecules don't just stimulate your brain temporarily, they restore its metabolic function, repair mitochondria, and enhance the signaling pathways that govern neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to grow, adapt, and evolve. One of these compounds, discovered through advanced metabolomic studies, seems to amplify mitochondrial respiration and improve brain cell resilience under stress. And when combined with creatine, the synergy is profound. It's like connecting a turbocharger to your brain's energy system. Now, imagine this with me. You wake up in the morning. Instead of dragging yourself through fog, your mind feels awake, calm, and focused. You sit down to work, your ideas flow effortlessly, your attention locks in, and distractions just fade away. You feel balanced, yet energized, not wired, not jittery, but alive. That's not fantasy, that's bioenergetic optimization. And that's exactly what happens when you feed your brain the right combination of compounds that enhance both ATP production and neural communication. Let's take a closer look at what's actually happening inside your neurons when this combination takes effect. Inside your brain, every single neuron is like a miniature power plant. It takes glucose, oxygen, and nutrients, and through complex biochemical reactions, converts them into ATP. But that process can slow down with stress, inflammation, lack of sleep, toxins, or even aging. When ATP levels drop, neurons can't maintain their electrical potential. This leads to slower firing, reduced neurotransmitter synthesis, and that dull, foggy sensation we often call mental fatigue. Creatine helps buffer this drop. It donates phosphate groups to ADP, turning it back into ATP instantly. It's like a generator kicking in when the lights flicker. But this new compound, the one I'm calling the neuro-activator, goes a step further. It enhances mitochondrial efficiency, allowing neurons to produce more ATP on their own, not just recycle it. Together, they create what I call the brain energy loop, a self-reinforcing cycle where neurons generate, store, and reuse energy more efficiently. This isn't just theory. Early human trials are showing improved working memory, faster reaction times, elevated mood scores, and even better sleep quality. Now let's talk about why this matters, not just for performance, but for longevity. The human brain starts losing mitochondrial function as early as your 30s. By the time you reach 50, it can drop by as much as 40%. This decline isn't just about aging. It's about how your neurons handle oxidative stress and repair themselves. When you boost mitochondrial health, you're not just improving energy, you're protecting your neurons from degeneration. That means sharper memory, lower risk of neurodegenerative diseases, and better emotional regulation as you age. So, when you mix this new brain compound with creatine, you're not simply enhancing focus, you're literally rejuvenating the metabolic power of your brain. Think of it as cognitive youth. Preserved, sustained, and optimized. Let me share a personal story. Years ago, when I was finishing my research on nutritional neuroscience, I went through a period of intense exhaustion. Long study hours, stress, lack of rest. My body was fine, but my mind felt heavy. I couldn't focus for more than 10 minutes without drifting. I tried caffeine, nootropics, even meditation. Nothing worked consistently. Until I began experimenting with energy substrates, compounds that directly fuel mitochondrial ATP production. The moment I combined creatine with one of these brain activators, the effect was unbelievable. Within a week, my cognitive endurance increased dramatically. My focus didn't just improve, it became stable. My mood lifted. My creativity returned. It wasn't about stimulation, it was about restoration. That's when I realized this isn't just about supplementation, it's about cellular empowerment. When people ask me, Dr. Costa, how do I boost my brain naturally? I tell them, stop chasing stimulants, start nurturing your mitochondria. Because the future of brain health is not found in quick energy, it's found in sustainable energy. Let's break this down scientifically for a moment. Neurons communicate via electrical impulses and chemical signals. To maintain that communication, they require vast amounts of ATP. During periods of mental exertion, like problem-solving, studying, or emotional processing, ATP consumption skyrockets. When you don't have enough phosphocreatine or mitochondrial support, your brain becomes sluggish. That's when you reach for sugar or caffeine, and that's when the cycle of artificial stimulation begins. But when you introduce creatine plus a mitochondrial activator, you restore that ATP balance naturally. Your neurons fire smoothly, your dopamine and serotonin pathways stabilize, and your mental clarity becomes effortless. You're not fighting your biology, you're working with it. Now, I want you to imagine what happens when millions of people start doing this. Students studying late nights, entrepreneurs running businesses, parents juggling careers and family, all of them thinking clearer, feeling calmer, reacting faster. This isn't just a health trend. This is the beginning of a neuro-energetic revolution. For decades, we've improved our muscles, our metabolism, our cardiovascular endurance. The next step, the one that defines the future of human evolution, is mastering brain energy optimization. And I believe this discovery, this synergy between creatine and advanced brain compounds, is the turning point. But let's be honest, no supplement can fix a lifestyle that's breaking you down. You still need sleep. You still need clean nutrition. You still need silence, mindfulness, purpose. What these compounds do is amplify your foundation. They don't replace it. It's like giving a world-class athlete the best shoes, but they still have to run. When your body, mind, and biochemistry align, that's when performance becomes sustainable. That's when creativity, focus, and emotional peace flow effortlessly. So, if you're listening to this and wondering, Dr. Costa, how do I start? Start simple. Hydrate, sleep, reduce sugar, move daily. Then, when your foundation is strong, introduce your creatine. And once the science behind these new neuro enhancers becomes publicly available, combine them carefully, under professional guidance. Because when you do, you won't just feel better, you'll think better. And that's what this is all about. A new generation of humans who no longer settle for brain fog, low focus, and emotional chaos. A new wave of thinkers, creators, scientists, parents, leaders who understand that brain health is not luxury, it's destiny. Energy is life, and your brain is the command center of that life. So nourish it, fuel it, and protect it, because the most powerful supplement isn't the one that excites your body, it's the one that awakens your mind. I want you to take a deep breath. Now imagine this, your body and your brain working in perfect harmony. Every thought, every movement, every heartbeat connected through an invisible web of energy and chemistry. That's not just philosophy, that's biology. In Chapter 1, we talked about the awakening of brain energy, how creatine and the emerging brain compound form a powerful alliance to enhance ATP production and mental clarity. But now we move into something far greater, the synergy between your body and mind, the connection that defines who you are, how you feel, and how you perform. You see, we've spent years dividing the human experience into parts, mind over body, body over mind. But science is now proving what ancient wisdom has whispered for centuries. They are one system, powered by the same energy pathways. Let's start with something simple. Your thoughts are not abstract. They are chemical reactions, electrical impulses, and energetic transformations happening inside your brain every millisecond. When you think positively, when you visualize success, when you feel gratitude, your neurons fire in patterns that literally change your biology. They release dopamine, serotonin, GABA, chemicals that relax your body, regulate your heart, and stabilize your immune system. And when you think negatively, when you worry constantly, when you live in fear, the opposite happens. Cortisol rises, inflammation increases, your mitochondria downshift. The very chemistry of your body follows the rhythm of your thoughts. That's why the real revolution, the mind-body synergy revolution, begins not in supplements but in conscious energy management. Now, where does creatine fit into this bigger picture? It's fascinating. Most people still think of creatine as muscle fuel. But your brain, heart, and immune cells also rely on creatine phosphate systems to stabilize energy. In high-stress situations, when your brain is under heavy load, ATP is consumed rapidly. If you don't have enough phosphocreatine to replenish it, neurons struggle to communicate efficiently. That's when anxiety spikes, reaction time slows, and you start to feel mentally drained. But when creatine levels are optimized, and especially when combined with the new neuro-activator compound, the system adapts. Your neurons don't panic under pressure. They hold their charge. They maintain clarity. In neuroscience, we call this resilience. And that's the foundation of peak performance, not just physically, but emotionally. Let's talk about emotion for a moment, because people underestimate how physical emotion really is. Every emotion you feel, anger, joy, sadness, love, triggers measurable changes in your body, your breathing, your heart rate, your hormone levels. That's why chronic emotional stress doesn't just make you feel bad. It literally ages your cells faster. It depletes your mitochondria, shrinks your brain's hippocampus, and alters your sleep cycles. And here's where this new science becomes life-changing. When we improve brain energy through compounds like creatine and neuro-activators, we're not just improving thinking, we're stabilizing emotion. Because emotional control isn't psychological alone, it's bioenergetic. When your neurons have enough ATP, your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, stays active even during stress. You remain calm, you think clearly, you respond instead of reacting. This is what I call the bioelectric calm, a state where energy flow supports emotional intelligence. Now imagine a world where this synergy becomes mainstream, where mental health treatments include not only therapy and mindfulness, but metabolic brain support. Think of how depression and anxiety affect millions today. For decades, we've treated them only with neurotransmitter manipulation, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, dopamine agonists. But what if part of the root cause lies in neuronal energy deficits? What if our modern diets, our stress levels, our sleep deprivation are simply starving the brain's mitochondria of what they need to stay balanced? When you restore energy metabolism with creatine, with targeted brain nutrients, with proper sleep and nutrition, the entire system recalibrates. Your neurotransmitters stabilize naturally. Your mood improves from within, and your brain doesn't just function, it thrives. That's not a miracle. That's metabolic psychiatry, and it's the future. Now let's bring the body back into the conversation, because you can't talk about the brain without talking about the body that sustains it. When you exercise, your muscles produce molecules called myokines, tiny signaling proteins that travel through your bloodstream and influence your brain. Some of these myokines stimulate neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells. Others increase BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called fertilizer for your neurons. So, when you combine movement with brain energy support, something powerful happens. Your body becomes a biochemical feedback loop that fuels your mind, and your mind, in turn, enhances your body's coordination, focus, and endurance. That's the synergy. That's the revolution. I often tell my patients and students, if you want to think better, move more. If you want to move better, think deeper, because your neural and muscular systems share the same metabolic currency, ATP. And the moment you enhance ATP production through creatine oxygenation or nutrient optimization, both systems elevate simultaneously. We've been taught to separate physical and mental health, but the human body doesn't operate in silos. It operates as an energy ecosystem. And the more harmoniously we feed that system, physically, emotionally, and biochemically, the more powerful we become. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you: creativity. Most people associate creativity with imagination, inspiration, or talent. But neuroscientifically speaking, creativity is neural flexibility, the ability of your brain to form new connections between existing ideas. And what determines that flexibility? Energy. When your brain has sufficient ATP, synapses fire faster and more efficiently. Neurons can talk to each other more dynamically. That's why people report more ideas, deeper insights, and better problem solving when their energy systems are optimized. Creativity, then, isn't random, it's metabolic. So, when you fuel your neurons, when you combine creatine with compounds that enhance mitochondrial activity, you're not just becoming smarter, you're unlocking the potential to create at a higher level. Think about that. The next great invention, artwork, or scientific breakthrough might not come from caffeine or adrenaline, but from optimized cellular energy. Let's dive a little deeper into what this new brain supplement actually represents. This isn't just a pill, it's a paradigm shift from external stimulation to internal restoration. We've been chasing temporary highs for decades. Caffeine, sugar, nicotine, even certain nootropics, they all provide a brief spike followed by a crash. But this new generation of neuro-energetic compounds builds energy from the inside out. They work on the mitochondrial membrane potential, the efficiency of the electron transport chain, and the recycling of ADP, all processes that determine how much usable energy your brain can produce. And when you combine that with creatine's phosphate buffering system, you're literally building a two-tiered energy defense network. One layer ensures sustained production, the other ensures rapid regeneration. That's why early studies show improvements not only in cognition but also in mental endurance, the ability to focus, think, and create for longer periods without burnout. It's the closest we've ever come to true neural optimization. But let me make one thing clear. The goal is not to become a machine. The goal is to become fully human, to experience your mind and body at their highest potential without sacrificing balance, rest, or emotion. I've met people who over-supplement, overtrain, overthink, chasing perfection. But real performance, real longevity, comes from harmony. You don't need to be superhuman. You need to be aligned. When you honor your body, respect your mind, and nourish your cells with what they truly need, you create a synergy that no stimulant can replicate. This is the foundation of the mind-body synergy revolution, where we stop fighting our biology and start cooperating with it. Now, you might ask, Costa, how do I live this revolution every day? It starts with awareness. Wake up and check in with your body before checking your phone. Ask yourself, how do I feel? What do I need today? Hydration, sunlight, movement, rest, reflection. These are not luxuries. They are part of your biological design. Then, feed your mitochondria, not just with supplements, but with real food: omega-3s, B vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. These are the raw materials your brain uses to convert energy efficiently. Once that foundation is set, then, and only then, should you enhance it with compounds like creatine and the new neuro-activator. Because when the basics are in harmony, the advanced tools become amplifiers, not crutches. And let me tell you, when that synergy locks in, you'll feel it. Your body won't just move, it will glide. Your thoughts won't just appear, they'll flow. Your emotions won't control you, they'll empower you. That's the moment you realize that energy, focus, and peace aren't separate goals. They are the natural state of a balanced nervous system. We're entering a new era in human potential, an era where mental fatigue, burnout, and brain fog are no longer accepted as normal, an era where science gives us the tools to reclaim our clarity, creativity, and calm. And yes, it starts with something as simple and as profound as combining the right nutrients in the right way. Because when you mix this new brain supplement with creatine, you're not just adding fuel, you're upgrading the entire energy infrastructure of your mind. You're stepping into the future of human performance, where the brain and body operate not as separate entities, but as a unified intelligence. That is the mind-body synergy revolution, and it's not coming someday, it's already here.